Buenos dias, future Spark leaders and mentors, current mentors, and special guests. I am Blanca Barajas, pronouns she, her, ella, CalWORKs director at Los Angeles Southwest College and president-elect of the California Community Colleges CalWORKs Association. On behalf of the CalWORKs Association, our wonderful Spark students and civic makers, I'd like to welcome you to the Spark Summer Showcase, featuring the work of our very own CalWORKs parenting students. Student parents are reimagining CalWORKs. Project Spark is possible thanks to the generosity of the Blue Shield of California Foundation and Rachel Wick, Senior Program Officer, who saw the far-reaching potential of this project and the positive impact it could have on California's families. 15 Fridays ago, on June 18th, Spark leaders from San Diego in the south to Susanville in the north and everywhere in between, over 30 California Community College CalWORKs parenting students came together virtually to participate in the summer cohort in the first ever Project Spark meeting. Although physically separated by miles and miles, the Spark leaders immediately began to engage with each other, immerse themselves in the work, build meaningful and supportive relationships, and begin their work learning about human-centered design. Each Spark leader was hired as a CalWORKs work study student for 15 hours a week. Thank you, Mia Keeley and the Chancellor's Office, special shout out. In spite of the fact that all of the Spark students are enrolled in classes this semester, have families to take care of, they are dedicated and committed to their work with Spark. Our Spark leaders are ready to create the change to make the systems that impact them equitable and just for all parenting students. Next slide, please.
Just a moment, Blanca.
No worries. And everyone, this is our Spark family. This is our Spark family. This is the first summer cohort. So take those images in. These are the wonderful images that we've seen for the past 15 Fridays. We are so proud of them and the work that they've done. And we're so happy that they're able to feature the work that they've been working on today. So thank you for being here. Slide, thank you. Thank you, Judy. In their work with Spark, using human-centered design, parenting students well, conduct their own research regarding conditions and barriers within the public assistance and higher education systems, design solutions that make sense to the families living within those systems, prototype, redesign, and finally, advocate for the implementation of a set of 5 recommendations to systems leaders and policymakers. Next slide, please. Project Spark is intended to reduce poverty among families of parenting college students and increase transfers and degrees. Ultimately, this work has the potential to increase economic justice for California's families and to reduce the wage gap for women in California. These goals may appear robust, but we believe that through the important and groundbreaking work that Project Spark is committed to do, and with the help of our partners, advocates, and our community college CalWORKs family, barriers that currently hinder our parenting student success will be addressed. Why should a parenting student take 6 years to complete a 2-year degree as opposed to their non-parent counterparts who complete in 2 years? One of the Spark teams has deemed this issue critical enough to make it their project. We must build a foundation for more support for CalWORKs students to transfer. We can also achieve these goals together by bringing parenting students into the equity conversation in California. Now, I'd like to introduce you to the one and only visionary Erin Edwards, our CalWORKs Association president. Erin?
Thank you so much, Blanca. That was great. You are my CalWORKs sister. Welcome, everybody. My name is Erin Edwards. I'm the director of the Glendale Community College CalWORKs Parents Program and the very proud president of the CalWORKs Association. I would like to welcome our funder. Project Spark is made possible through a generous grant from Blue Shield of California Foundation. Blue Shield of California supports lasting and equitable solutions to make California the healthiest state and end domestic violence. When we work together to remove the barriers to health and well-being especially for Californians most affected, we can create a more just and equitable future. Thank you so much, Rachel Wick, for all of your support, inspiration, ideas, cheerleading, and thank you for believing in this project and in CalWORKs students. Yay! This is how we applaud in Project SPARC. Next slide. I also would like to welcome our partners and stakeholders. The Center for the Study of Social Policy, the California Community College's Chancellor's Office, the Hope Center for College, Community, and Justice, the California Department of Social Services. Damien, I saw you here. Thanks for joining us. The Coalition for California Welfare Rights Organizations, the Western Center on Law and Poverty, and Neighborhood Legal Services of Los Angeles County. Let's give them a SPARC applause. Thank you for supporting us. Next slide, please, Judy. So for the community college people in this audience, I thought I'd just do a quick connector for you, for your brain. In community colleges, we are all rightly obsessed with guided pathways because it's the way that we know that we can reduce achievement gaps for all of our student groups. There's a strong connection, though, between guided pathways and what you'll be hearing about for the rest of this presentation, which is human-centered design. Guided pathways is all about putting the student in the center of everything we do. And human-centered design, as the name will tell you, is all about putting human beings in the center of all of our designs. Guided pathways is all about reimagining community colleges so that they work. It's about piloting, we call it piloting in guided pathways, and redesigning what we do over and over again. Human-centered design is the same. It's all about designing around human beings, putting human beings at the center, prototyping instead of piloting, and then again, redesigning, constantly reimagining so that the systems that we have work for human beings. And with that, speaking of human beings, oh, I forgot this slide was put here. So one of the first things we did as a group in Project SPARC was we watched this amazing movie, a documentary called Crip Camp. And it's all about the accessibility movement. And one of the phrases we learned from Crip Camp was nothing about us without us. And that's sort of also been the rallying cry of Project SPARC, that nothing should be built for low-income CalWORKs community college students. It should really be built by them. So next slide. Oops, there we go. The last group I want to thank and welcome is Civic Makers. They've been the most incredible partners. They are our human-centered design consultants. I want to thank Judy Brown, Leah Tremblay Adams, and Britt Henry. They made Project SPARC work. They made its heartbeat. They taught us all human-centered design. They're always smiling. Everything's always okay. And they really ushered us through this incredible process over the summer. So we love you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Erin. Always smiling, sometimes crying, depends on the day, but at Project SPARC, we make space for everyone. We make space for all the feelings. We make space for what might be happening if a child is sick or we have to really quickly go through a drive-through graduation, right? Yes. And as mentioned in Project SPARC, we applaud each other like this. This is American Sign Language for applause. So we invite all of our stakeholders here today to celebrate as well. My name is Judy Brown. Over where I can see is Britt. Give a little wave, Britt. And then we have Leah over here. I just wanted to take a moment to thank my team and thank all of our amazing SPARC leaders who are here, who have put their trust in us. Thank you to all the partners who also trusted us. Thank you, Rachel, for actually pinging us about this opportunity. Super exciting. So now I'm going to pass it over to Britt, who's going to quickly expand a little bit on what Erin was sharing about human-centered design. And then I'm going to share a little bit about the framework that our SPARC leaders will be sharing with you today, and then we're going to get to it. So Britt, take it away.
Thank you, Judy. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for your presence today. Thank you for that amazing intro, Erin. That was the hype that I needed this morning. So we're going to talk just a little bit about human-centered design before we pass it off to the amazing participants of this program. We're going to walk you through some amazing presentations. So first to start, human-centered design, right? So it's a series of decisions to solve a problem where decisions are informed by those who are impacted by the outcome. So we're putting the human back into design, because traditional design sometimes dictates that the best people to solve the problems aren't the people experiencing in that. And we're flipping that narrative, because how can a person who has never had the lived experience of an issue adequately speak to all of the nuances here? So we're saying that we value lived experiences as expertise, right? As a matter of fact, we're doing away with the word expertise, and we're saying lived experience rises above all. And so just to talk about what this looks like conceptually as we move through the phases, the first thing we start with is emphasizing. So think of this as a discovery phase. This is where we're actively listening, we're identifying all of our key stakeholders, all of our key decision makers, and we're coming into those conversations with open minds and a curiosity, because what you want to avoid doing here is doing away with all those judgments. And we're not saying, it's human to make judgments. It's human to make assumptions, right? Some of that is very innately linked to our survival, but to the best of our ability, we're here to empathize. We're here to come and live with your experience for a second. The next phase that we get into is defining. So now that we have all this data, right, because we've done surveys, we've talked to stakeholders, we've made maps, right? We've got some really hard-hitting data. We are now going to define what that data is telling us, right? We don't tell the data what it is. The data tells us what needs to be done here, right? We are just here to facilitate a process. And then we get into ideating. This is the creativity phase. This is where you get to apply what you think a solution might look like. And you get to bounce these ideas back off of each other, right? So you're ideating. This is creation. We all need play. You don't, after you move out of your phase of kid, you don't stop needing that playtime, and you can put it into like processes like this, right? And next thing we're going to move into is prototyping. So now we're going to build something. So all my people who killed it at Legos when they were children, this is your time, right? So you're going to build the vehicle that you think will create that change. Whatever the data told you, whatever your stakeholders told you is the problem, you are building literally a vehicle that may solve the solution. It is also important to note, as you see in each one of these phases, there's an arrow that moves you forward, but also there's an arrow that moves you back. Because in each one of these areas, there's always time to check in with your stakeholders, and there's always time to take a step back if something is not working, right? It's important to acknowledge when you've hit a roadblock. It's important to acknowledge that you may need to check in with your stakeholders to make sure you're still walking a path that represents them, right? Because again, this isn't about what your ideas are. This is about what your stakeholders, what the people who are mostly going to be impacted by this outcome are telling you they want. So you always need to make sure you're having their voice represented, and you can be a part of that stakeholder, right? You don't need to exclude yourself, but you need to understand that there's a collective community here that also needs to be heard. And then next, we're going to move into testing that. That's when we built our little Lego ship. We're going to sail that right to the demographic that it's supposed to be impacting. We're going to test it out. And we're coming into this knowing that we may need to tweak some things. Again, that's why there's always an arrow forward and an arrow back. But with that data that you get from that feedback, you can continue that forth. And then you may decide to go through the process again, right? That's why this is circular. This is not a linear design. You may constantly be in a process of reiterating what you do. Human-centered design is actually very much a business practice, and you're constantly reiterating a product so that way it moves with your people, because people don't stay the same. What their needs are may change over time, so you may have to go back and go through this process again. So this is just a visual for you all to kind of understand what the students have been working on. Next slide, please. So we're going to talk a bit about what's the approach here. So things you want to consider, right? We're coming into this with collaborative problem solving. You don't have to be the one person who solves everything. We are actually saying that that is not good because you're limited by your own experiences and by your own perspective. The collective is way stronger than the individual, right? But the individual is influential and impactful. But collaborative, you come together to influence a whole. And we're designing with, not for the end user. This is taking away that we are the saviors of our stakeholders. They are their own saviors. They know exactly what they want. We are doing this with them, not for them, right? Because they're giving us all the data. They're giving us all we need. Without them, we couldn't do this work. So it's with them. Next consideration challenges are opportunities to make a positive change. When you come up against those pressure points, lean into it, right? Indulge it. We want to break down really what that challenge is. Don't get intimidated by it because challenges are going to happen. You are only going to be able to see as much as you can, right? And when those challenges come up, that's an opportunity to rise to an occasion, to really get into that deep work. And then we're often about redesigning programs or systems, right? This is about redesigning systems that weren't built for people that look like us, identify like us, have our lived experience. So we're redesigning those for us now. We're taking back this narrative that the systems that were given to us were good enough. They're not. We know that they're not, right? So we're redesigning those systems to adequately address the things that we need in our lived experiences. And now I'm going to pass it back to Judy, who's going to talk about how might we.
All right. Thank you so much, Britt. And thank you, everyone. I'm going to just quickly go through what our SPARC leaders are going to share with you today. So framing a problem with how might we, as Britt was saying, allows us to take a challenge and turn it into an opportunity. So when we say how, it assumes solutions exist. Might reduces commitment. So in this phase of our SPARC leaders working on their challenges in the past 12 weeks, we might be able to solve some piece of a large problem, right, in this first sprint. Then next, we're going to do more design sprints as well. And the we is really important because we do it together. All of your SPARC leaders, those of you who are mentors working with them one-on-one, they're all part of a team. And you're going to have the opportunity to hear from each of the teams because we know that when we design together, we come up with the best ideas for how we can improve systems. So the goals of this summer process was to, of course, practice the human-centered design process, find some initial pain points and research areas to prioritize going forward. So our friends at the Center for the Study of Social Policy are going to have a little handoff with us and to dig into some deeper research. And then again, this is an opportunity for our SPARC leaders to be both designers and the stakeholders with their lived experience. And finally, this first cohort, everyone who has stuck around with us and everyone who has worked through up until today, they are helping to design Project SPARC as we understand it today as well. So we'll share more on that at one of our next convenings when we get to share with you about incoming SPARC leaders. And now, without further ado, what you all came here for, which is the team presentations. Give a little wave for our teams, throw them some love. They're all very excited to be here today. And I'm going to pass it over to Britt to introduce our first team.
Hi, yes. So I'm going to be introducing Team 1 of Warriors of Resilience. I have been deeply inspired by this group's dedication to accessibility, inclusivity, and calling people in as well as themselves. I've seen this arise in implementing such accessible practices such as interviews that have been conducted in Armenian and Arabic, and creating forums with also these types of language considerations. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to Team 1, Warriors of Resilience.
Can I share the screen?
Yes, go ahead, Rita.
Thank you. Just take time. Yes. Here we go.
Hello. Hi, everyone. We are Warriors of Resilience, and today we will summarize our work on our HMW question and prototype building. Next slide, please. The Warrior of Resilience team members are me, Courtney Abrams, from West Los Angeles College, Marguerite Avagan from Los Angeles Valley College, Rosilia Thomas from Southwestern College, and Rita Isaac from San Diego College of Continuing Education. As expressed by our team member, Rosilia Thomas, we are awesome sauce. We, work in the project SPARC changed the lives of many SPARC leaders, and we are hoping to change the lives of other CalWORKs students. Next slide, please. Our how might we statement is how might we better support the future of CalWORKs students. We decided based on our survey feedback and our team members that the transfer process has a gap. We are interested in building a gap between community college and university. We want the transition to be smoother and give the students and CalWORK staff the ability to have a standardized pathway. We would like to develop a website that will simplify the process. Next slide, please.
Hello, my name is Marguerite Avakian, and I'm SPARC leader from Los Angeles Valley College. There are three main stakeholders groups we are targeting: CalWORKs students, college faculties and staffs, county representatives. By conducting the research, we were interviewing the representatives from these three groups. The second step was the survey, which was running among three different groups of stakeholders mentioned above. We want to outline that these surveys have been conducted in three languages: English, Arabic, Armenian. The fourth was planned to be done in Spanish in order to collect data from all possible stakeholders, even though they may have the language barriers. Next slide, please. There were a couple of challenges and barriers that our group faced during the research. The diagram in this slide shows the participation rate in the survey. Surprisingly, the number of participants in this survey was less than we expected. We were facing problems communicating and cooperating with some county workers, college staff, and faculty, even though we conducted several interviews with them too. As shown in the diagram, the most active participants in the interviews and surveys are the CalWORKs students, who share their opinion and challenges within the CalWORKs program participation. Next slide, please. From the process and each other, we learned how to face problems, analyze and resolve them, and reflected on how to manage time. We learned the meaning of human-centered design and how to use the related tools to conduct our insights, how to emphasize, define, search, analyze, and ideate processes. We considered the meaning of the stakeholders and their responsibilities. The picture in this slide is one of our Jamboards we used in the working process. Next, please. The research process covered the following main points: communication, information, informed decision, involvement, self-determination, transition. As you can see in the pie charts, in all cases, about half of the survey participants are not satisfied in these areas. Next, please.
Hi, my name is Rita Isaac. I represent San Diego College of Continuing Education, specifically Educational Culture Complex. So me and my team, our concerns about how to make as we mentioned, the process of dealing with the county or with the PCG, if it is a paperwork, other procedure, make it much easier. So we came out depending on the surveys that we created in many language to this website, which is, I use just not a real website. It's called the XT program to show like drawing this website. So if we combine like the PCG with the CalWORK in one website and how to talk about the CalWORK, like just to give them a simple idea about the CalWORK for who and how to apply, and how it's the student can go and upload their paperwork. If it is a CalWORK student, then he just need to come here and in one page, upload their IDs, their bank account, wherever paperwork they need, and fill the application here. And then can go to the cases and show their cases. Just write the case number here, and then can show up here if it is if he or she eligible for cash aid or other things. And if there's missing some paper, they can fill it, upload it from here, and then sign it and upload it again here. That's going to save much time and a lot of time for the caseworker, for the student, and for a lot of issues and problems that's happening now. And then go to the transfer process and show how there is a form. The student can fill it and decide what's the next step for him. If he want to go to the college, he need to just fill this application, or if he want to transfer now to find a job. So this with the ETA, and he can talk about that and work on that together. So this is our idea about like simple websites to solve all these issues. Thank you so much.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Priscilla Thomas, and I'm the SPARC leader representing for Southwestern College. And I will be talking a little bit more about our prototype for our team when it comes to the transferring process. When it comes to being a CalWORKs student at any higher education and aiming for a degree from an associate's all the way to a doctorate degree, it is challenging to seek guidance, assistance, and resources when you don't know of them. So we chose this HMW, how may we question, because we know for a fact that over half of the student body are not fully equipped or aware on how to transfer and what is required to a smooth transitional transfer process. That's why I chose these two emojis, got the smiley face, like, yes, we did it. And the paperwork documents have been accepted with no problem. Next slide, please. So when it comes to furthering our research, overall, we, after we've conducted our surveys and building the pyramid towards our stakeholders, we want to be able to build an effective HCD, also known as a human-centered design, which can be an excellent outsource for them to accomplish their educational goals with no worries and no stress. See, there goes another random statement for y'all. Filling up the gaps that we have encountered to ensure that they are more than self-sufficient. They are a graduate with the abundance that they need and deserve. That's why I chose these two images that you can see. We did our research, and with gloves on, we're filling in the gaps. Next slide, please.
Hi, it's me again, Courtney from West Los Angeles College, sorry. In conclusion, we use the HCD, which is the human-centered design, to administer surveys and come to a conclusion that would best suit the needs of CalWORKs students based on the feedbacks we received from the surveys. We would like the process from community college to university to be simplified for CalWORKs students. Thank you. That's all from me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Warriors of Resilience. That was wonderful. I hope you are seeing all the love for you in the chat. I know there was a lot of excitement around the prototype in particular, and it's been such a pleasure to see the wonderful skills from the team brought to life here. It's now my pleasure to announce our second team to go, the Game Changers. And something that was really beautiful for me to get to watch with this team was that they did such a great job really balancing the hats of being a designer and the hats of their lived experience. And what you'll see is a really trauma-informed approach to their prototype and this process, not only acknowledging what's needed in terms of physical resources, but in terms of the approach as well. So with that, I will hand it off to our Game Changers.
Hi, everybody. All right, good morning. Thank you guys for joining us in Project Spark. We are Team 2 Game Changers. We are very excited to show our presentation. I would like to introduce myself. I'm Lisa Keelan, the Spark leader representing Norco Community College.
Hi, my name is Angelina Gonzalez, the Spark leader representing Chabot Community College.
Hi, my name is Laura Valdez. I am the Spark leader representing Santa Rosa Junior College.
Hi, I'm Brianna Hatfield. I'm the Spark leader representing Lassen Community College.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Reese, the Spark leader representing Imperial Valley College.
Our team is unique because we all come from different scenarios, which creates a diverse foundation for creativity and problem solving, especially towards CalWORKs student-parent gaps. No matter the hardships or obstacles we have faced each week, we always find a way to overcome and help one another.
Our focus was how might we better align public assistance services with the needs of student parents. We found several gaps of communication between social workers, recipients, and the associated college. Because of our research supporting this, we envision that it is beneficial for all county workers to be fully educated with the programs and resources the county provides for public assistance recipients.
We came to better understand our How Might We statement by inquiring within our public assistant offices, interviewing with student parents, and our own personal experiences. Within our research, we found that these three stakeholders are the most essential, and this is why we think they're important. CalWORK students, because they are considered direct experience stakeholders to the program. Work employment counselors, because they are the participants' first point of contact to begin a welfare to work program. And CalWORKs program director, because they are responsible for fund distribution within the CalWORKs program at each community college and ensure the program runs smoothly.
What we discovered in our research from the stakeholders we chose was that all counties are not the same regarding the resources that are provided for education and career goals. Also, CalWORKs directors at our colleges are a huge asset to distributing resources to student parents within the programs at their institutions. And depending on what county worker you're assigned, can determine a positive or negative outcome for the participant. Here are some quotes that resonated with us the most. No matter how good things are, there's always room for growth. I have encountered some county workers that were not empathetic to my needs. Each case is different, and we only offer resources as needed. We use these tools, these templates on the screen right now, to map out our research regarding gaps within our How Might We statement. We color-coded each category regarding their importance from low impact to high impact. Some impacts spoken of in our research are mental health, job readiness, transportation, and finances.
This is where we found that these 4 gaps were the most significant, which we incorporated into our design for a solution. Communication between worker and recipient, recipient's knowledge of services and resources, mental health services, job placement and college options. And here's our solutions. Educating worker with a checklist, worker educating the recipient, asking recipient about their mental health status, and connecting recipient with a job or college counselor. We wanted to create a prototype that we can involve more than one gap since we believe these are all equally important. Our suggestion is creating a checklist and a pamphlet. By creating a checklist, any county worker can reference and overlook issues in the initial appointment with the participant. A pamphlet can convey information that is easily accessible regardless of the resources. Lisa?
Did we lose her?
It's okay. As a group,
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. As a group, we think this is a productive suggestion, and we feel that the recipient will be more successful in their CalWORKs journey. The needs of the recipient is not just financial stability, but mental stability. From our research and personal experiences, we have found that mental health needs are not being met unless the recipient specifically asks for them. Our vision is to make sure the recipient is able to maintain a job or schooling successfully. We feel with the proper mental health care that they may need, the recipient will be more successful in the program. We found that many participants seeking assistance come from trauma, abuse, and less than ideal situations that impact their mental well-being. Some participants did not feel safe initiating these conversations. By utilizing a checklist, the social worker can address the safety and mental stability of the participant needs and move on to other needs. The point of this is to help stabilize each participant at the beginning of the CalWORKs program, and this is the checklist for the recipient.
Here's an example of a simple pamphlet where all resources are offered to student parents. By using calming, inviting colors, this can be less intimidating to the viewer. We wanted to incorporate a pamphlet because not all participants may have access to electronic methods to acquire resources. With this, a participant can have access to resources they may need in the future and can provide helpful information regarding public assistance benefits. They are also cost efficient.
When trying to create solutions to problems, try to have an empathetic approach. We would suggest having an open mind and think outside of the box when mapping out ideas. Sometimes it takes a few attempts at building your ideas and you might not get it the first time, but don't feel discouraged in the learning process.
This concludes our presentation, and we want to thank you all for your time.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you listening to our presentation.
Thank you so much, Team 2 and Team 1. That was amazing. We want to let our audience know that we're running a little long. This might go until 12, but we hope you can stay with us. It will be worth it. So it is my pleasure to introduce Team 3. I'm going to introduce them with a map. So Team 3 comes from all over California. Brandon comes from Merced College in Central California. Eve comes from Long Beach College, City College, the bottom of California. Lakeisha, again, is from West Hills College, Lemoore in Central California. Sochi is way up near San Francisco at San Joaquin Delta College. And Maria, again, is down in Southern California. These 5 students from 5 different places across California came together over the summer and they compared notes about their CalWORKs experiences. You will see from their presentation that their discussions, research, interviews, and analysis were a direct result of their geographic locations. And this is exactly the kind of opportunity for collaboration that Project SPARC was intended to create. Take it away, pioneers.
Hello, everyone. We're at Project SPARC Team 3, Pioneers Team.
Hello, everyone. My name is Xochitl Gutierrez, and I'm a SPARC leader for San Joaquin Delta College.
Hello, I'm Eve Salinas, and I'm a SPARC leader at Long Beach City College.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Maria Munoz, and I am a SPARC leader at Cerritos College.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brandon Iniguez, and I'm the SPARC leader for Merced College.
Hello, my name is Lakeisha Burrell, and I'm a SPARC leader at West Hills College of Lemoore.
What's one thing that's unique about our team? We are good at communicating to our team members. We support each other and continue to grow as a team. And we also encourage each other, although we are working online. We can count on each other to overcome obstacles together and as a team. And we do not take no for an answer.
Our how might we statement. Our how might we statement is, how might we ensure there's equitable access to resources for all students? The steps we took to better understand our HMW. We interviewed CalWORKs students, directors, and our mentors. Why is it important to stakeholders? They believe that students' voices should be heard and students are the strongest advocates for change. Our inspirations. As CalWORK participants, we were compelled to focus on equitable access for resources for all students because we share experiences within our team and also our interviews. Next slide, please.
What was the reach of our research? For our research, we interviewed CalWORKs recipients, stakeholders in our community, directors, and also our mentors. Next slide, please.
In this slide, we share some of the quotes that have been inspiring to us in our journey thus far. The first quote states, "Do something today that your future self will thank you for," by Sean Patrick Flannery. The following quote states, "Without continual growth and progress, such words as improvement, achievement, and success have no meaning," by Benjamin Franklin. The following quote states, "We must move beyond the ideal of a comfortable, self-focused life and answer the call to be an advocate for those who don't have one." The following quote states, "Those who have a voice must speak for those who are voiceless," by Bishop Oscar Romero. The following quote states, "I learned a long time ago the wisest thing I can do is be on my own side, be an advocate for myself and others," by Dr. Maya Angelou. And the final quote states, "Leadership is a mindset. I know many great leaders with no title that changed the world." Next slide, please. In this slide, we share from our research. What surprised us is that many CalWORKs students didn't know of many additional programs and services that are provided. What we learned from the process and from each other is that there is a great need for change and advocacy. Communication is key. We learn not to be afraid to ask for help. We learn we can share diverse perspectives. Although we all live in California, we all have different struggles, needs, and services for each county that need to be addressed. Change is possible and we will be heard, and the spark will fire up our now and future generations, and leaders will rise from the concrete. Next slide, please.
What ideas do we want to bring to life? Implementing EBT accessibility as form of payment within college institutions statewide. Making the budget equally accessible throughout all of California so that all families have access to all assistance and programs. changing the welfare to work hours requirements from single CalWORK parents compared to two parents households. Change the allotted time to turn in requested documents to prevent delaying or termination of our benefits. Why do we choose it? We share this experience among our team, and we agree that it is very important to address these issues. Because if we have these struggles and other CalWORKs participants do as well, then these issues need to be addressed and find a solution. We're very grateful for this opportunity as being able to make changes by being part of a program such as SPARC. Next slide, please.
What additional research do we hope to conduct in the future? Understanding the laws and policies. As we go deeper into this program, there are many more aspects of CalWORKs we want to understand better through research. We're focused on the budget now, but the more we look into things, the more questions we have. We know our focus will change throughout this program. What research questions do we still have, and what gaps did we identify? We want to understand why some counties and some colleges have more funding than others. We want to know the budget categories. Does the budget roll over from the following year? Why do some counties provide important services like laptops and some do not? Where does child support paid to the county go? Why do county workers make students feel they are asking for too much when students ask for supplies necessary for their Welfare to Work program? How can CalWORK students find out about all the services available if the county worker doesn't tell them? Workers make students feel ashamed to ask for what they need for school. Next slide, please.
And for our conclusion, what might we share with incoming students about the HCD process and about the purpose of this project? With human-centered design, CalWORK students explore the barriers that affect them and their families when trying to access education and CalWORK's assistance. CalWORK students will analyze their own research and design solutions by making positive changes to address the conditions and barriers that keep families and CalWORK students from accessing higher education. Most importantly, be yourself. Don't feel guilty or ashamed to ask questions. This program is for people like you and me. You are not alone. Together we can make a change. And that concludes our presentation.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I love all of those hard questions that you're asking. Thank you. Thank you. I now have the privilege of introducing our next team, the All-Star Squad. And just so you all know, we have 3 more teams to present. So hopefully you're able to stick around with us because, like Erin said, it'll be worth it. So the All-Star Squad, which is made up of all-stars, clearly, showed some really amazing design inquiry and initiative when they discovered a website that allows users to attend CalWORKs meetings that they agreed to attend as a team. So they're reaching out and finding where are the resources, where can they be getting more information to inform their How Might We statement, which is really working to understand how we might cultivate more empathy between CalWORKs clients and county workers who administer their benefits. This team has found some overlapping benefits systems in their mission to discover how to improve CalWORKs programs and services to be more responsive to the needs of those that they are intended to serve. So, All-Star Squad, take us away.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So this is our team, the All-Star Squad. This is our informative plan to bridge the gap of understanding compassion and empathy between CalWORKs participants and their caseworkers. And this is my team. I am Linnea Brandmeier from Golden West College in Huntington Beach, Orange County.
I am Maya from Modesto Junior College, Stanislaus County.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shantara Allen. I prefer Shay. I represent Allen Hancock College, and my point person is Edwin Hodges.
Hey everyone, my name is Karina Gutierrez and I am representing Crafton Hills College located in Yucaipa in the county of San Bernardino. Name elected from my CalWORKs director and point person, Rejoice Shavira. Thank you.
Our team is special. Despite our diversities, we still managed to find a common ground as CalWORKs participants, and we also became friends outside of SPARC. With fall semester starting and COVID running rampant, we still manage school, home, work, and our personal lives. From the very beginning as a SPARC leader, we have been a very strong support system for one another. And we have discovered within conversation that the denominator of most issues is showing more empathy towards others.
So one might ask, how can we improve this CalWORKs programming and services to meet the need of CalWORKs students? So we went through different steps of this process, and this is also because of the help of Judy, Britt, and Leah through the human-centered design process. And we kind of identified different obstacles on both sides from, being recipients and also the people that provide us with these services. So the first step that we kind of began with was empathy. And through our interviews that we conducted with other CalWORKs participants, through other stakeholders, including our own personal experience and the data that we collected and the research, we identified that, there needs to be more awareness and we need to gain each other's perspectives from, our view and the caseworkers themselves at DPSS and our stakeholders. So upon interviewing the CalWORKs participants and, we kind of identified that our caseworkers are the ones at the forefront, right? They're the one that's going to direct us to the services that we need. But what about their needs? Are they getting the time management that they would need? Are they getting that, effort and, that support that they need on their side? And we just kind of would like to create a space that's non-judgmental, being the client and also on their side as the caseworker, and having that open communication and, what are their expectations and, the layout that they have to go through, and how can we, create fluid and unbiased empathetic relationships and a clear understanding of the process through CalWORKs program that, that we need and what it consists of.
I'm sorry, I think I skipped a slide. This is where my team is from. This is our counties. My computer keeps jumping, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. I feel bad. So in our meeting, we figured out that we don't live that too far from each other, which is really, really cool. I'm at the very top in the Central Valley. I live in Keys, which is close to Modesto. Then we have San Bernardino, and then Lompoc, and then do you know what? I'm sorry. I can't see from here. Santa Barbara. Oh, I can't even see it. Well, anyways, we're all pretty close to each other, and we just thought that it was really cool how we are able to meet different people throughout our state and connect so well. So our team works really, really well from the beginning, and I just want to add that. Okay.
payback calculation. We'll look that up online as well. But yes, we want to make sure we're being appropriate.
Even though we had some meetings with stakeholders, and there were some prizes within the meetings, and we had interviews with other CalWORK participants and personal experiences within our group, and we collected data and numbers that coincide with CalWORKs caseworkers being overloaded with cases and not having enough caseworkers. We discovered links that reveals dates and times of our county CalSOLS programs, which lets CalWORKs participants and others listen in on important conversations about CalWORKs. CalSOLS is a public resource for the community with links related to benefits and health, legal counseling, family assistance, employment, education, and general resources. Upon exploring the site, you will find that you can subscribe to emails that will have links to CalWORK stakeholders meetings and so forth. I have subscribed to the emails, and they do come in frequently about when meetings are held, and you can attend and get helpful information.
Oops, I closed it. What do I do? Do I go to the next? Oh, I'm scrolling.
There were also some stakeholder surprise. Even though the stakeholders, they do hold a stake in the CalWORKs programs, they often don't know the procedures, what all the ins and outs are going on in the program. They're kind of just a stamp just to say that they're a stakeholder. The caseloads are high for the caseworkers. There are different layouts of plans that are supposed to have the same layout across counties that are rolled out differently. There are also different times the programs that are giving to us as students, as sometimes we don't know information until the last minute.
And this one is just an example of a prototype that we've been coming up with, is condensing a version of the CalWORKs handbook into something more simplified and easier to understand. We want to know, how are the caseworkers being trained in order to successfully deliver important information to the CalWORKs participant? Caseworkers are the foundation of the CalWORKs program, and we need them to be more understanding, compassionate, and have empathy towards our situations. We as CalWORKs participants understand that we all have personal issues we struggle with. So how can we help caseworkers? What is their mental state? And can we include mental health checklists? CalWORKs students need a guide that compiles resources and steps to aid students in their journey of becoming a CalWORKs student parent. This guide would assist in bridging the gaps between campuses and the counties. It would also be a way for CalWORKs students to be more informed, like a college manual, guide, or checklist for CalWORKs students at each campus.
And then for phase 2, because we were really interested about the side of the CalWORKs caseworkers, we really want to know how we can help them. So we're going to, next phase, we're going to be start doing more research. Did you already read this one? Yeah. We want for the caseworkers, we want to accumulate the thoughts and inputs on how the CalWORKs can be improved. Like, see what they think. What if their ideas are different than our ideas? What do they see? Review counties and hiring procedures and evaluation processes. Sometimes they don't fit, and we can figure out what different ones that do. Introduce and create prototypes to improve awareness of different programs and services. Bring CalWORKs participants awareness of the CalSOLS meetings, because a lot of us, I had no idea that they were even a thing. Some people are unaware of all the different information that's available to them. The gaps within the research that we found is lack of communication and knowledge of the resources. Again, we are not told of a lot of things that whenever we first start. So that's one thing. And uncompassionate or non-empathetic caseworkers. That is one thing that we can definitely agree through all of our experiences, that we have had 1, 2, maybe a few times where it wasn't, they weren't helpful. The deadline urgency differs between caseworkers and students. Another team had mentioned that, but that is another problem that we had found. Sometimes the caseworkers, they ask for a certain deadline, but then they don't meet the deadline. So that puts the other students, materials behind. And then the gap between college campuses and the CalWORKs system. Sometimes the caseworkers don't know that when different policies and procedures are updated, so it brings the students, puts them behind on their getting their services and, whatever they need. I can do this one. So to the new recruits, with the incoming students, we will be a part of this historic program that provokes a positive equity change while being a leader of that change is in this groundbreaking program. Don't take this lightly. The purpose of this project is to change the awareness and perception of the CalWORKs program within the community colleges and bridge the compassion between caseworkers and the CalWORKs participants.
And we also just want to thank you all, Blue Shield, our stakeholders, our partners, our directors, the HCD team, Blanca, Judy, Aaron, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you for our presentation. Thank you for allowing us to have a voice and an opportunity to, start this new path for, changing history for CalWORKs students. And we just really appreciate that. We've identified, like I said, not so much issues with the CalWORKs programs on campuses, but more so, something that we can improve within the counties at the DPSS offices. And like I said, just thank you for your time.
Wow, that was truly amazing, all-star squad. I mean, you guys are making me want to bust out of my chair and cheer. So yay, all-star squad, phenomenal, empathy, bridging the compassion between the county workers and the students. Wow, thank you for bringing that to the conversation, and thank you for thinking of our partners, the other half, right, that help support all of you as you enter our community colleges, as you enter our CalWORKs program. So great job, so impressed. Thank you for that. Well, it is my pleasure to now introduce team number 5, the Showstoppers. Small in number, but huge on ideas. This small yet mighty team has grappled with human-centered data analysis. Their enthusiasm for collecting data and deciphering its meaning is super infectious. To confirm, all you need to hear is their team's report out to the larger group, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Showstoppers has also been engaging an interesting range of stakeholders and pursuing their challenges from multiple perspectives. Team member Brian was also invited to learn more about the Equity Commission at Fresno City College. Needless to say, our students are paving their way for their voices to be heard. Of importance to this creative bunch is improving the college experience for CalWORKs students and exploring the time management piece to create greater efficiencies so parenting students have more time to dedicate to their families and other meaningful areas of their lives. It is my super duper pleasure to present to you Showstoppers.
Thank you so very much, everybody. Good morning, everyone. My name is Brian. I am the SPARC leader for Fresno City College.
Good morning. I'm Christina Myrick, and I'm from Maricosta College in Oceanside.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dulcie, and I am the SPARC leader for College of the Desert in Palm Desert. Okay. Do you remember your first day of college? the stress, anxiety, maybe some fear and excitement mixed in. If you were young, single, supported, and only had to think about yourself, consider yourself lucky. Now imagine feeling all of those feelings, but add in also having to care for your children, make sure their lunches are made, get them to school or daycare on time. What if you don't have support at all? This adds in a whole new set of stress, anxiety, and fear and excitement. What if something you need is attainable, but not something that others really think about? The biggest challenge we found for CalWORKs parenting students is time. One thing we've learned through COVID is how to streamline things. In-person classes have become virtual. Paperwork has become uploads. Personal services have become third-party applications. So why not waiting in lines becoming Canvas? So for our How Might We got how might we better the college experience of the CalWORKs participant? The steps we took to better understand our How Might We statement was that we started from the bare minimum and worked our way up. We broke it down word for word. What does it mean to be a CalWORKs student? And we worked our way up from there. The college experience of the CalWORKs participant is important to our stakeholders for various reasons. These include, but aren't limited to, the stakeholders' interest in the CalWORKs student's success, helping the CalWORKs student see their potential, and allowing for optimal time utilization, thus making CalWORKs participants self-sufficient.
Real quick, keeping in mind, most of our stakeholders were reached out in the Fresno City College area due to our population and our access of accessibility to some of these individuals, including we had a lot of parent students, we had the counselors, job specialists, and on the campus itself, our lovely director, our financial aid, and EOPNS. Keeping that in mind. From where we started, we went ahead and took a look at each of these four main stakeholders that greatly do affect us. We took different areas out of vague and started from there. We took federal, we took state, county, and of course our local schools. Taking a look at all of these, we went into policies and trying to see where in policies can we find gaps and things that we just didn't feel comfortable with and try to attack it from there. We found that a lot of props and a lot of budgeting was very heavily involved with some of these things, and it was just too much to explore to go into Prop 98 and how budgeting works. So we went ahead and just stuck with what is locally affecting students. So we stuck with county and the schools. We took a look at things like how are assignments given to students, like is that affecting students? How is the communication with the job specialist affecting them? How is some of our schools have different ways of doing book vouchers. If the book vouchers are given from job specialists to students, or is it something like where the student has to ask for the ancillary checks or whatnot? So we took a look at these processes within both the county and the school and try to look for where can we find these gaps. And in the end, we found gaps within time. There's a lot of time that it takes to get documents from the student to the job specialist and the job specialist to go ahead and process them. And if something on those documents are incorrect or there's an evaluation to be needed, they get returned, they get sent higher up, or or they just move on into the process, the next step. So we wanted to see if we could simplify really the students' movements. We want to look at foot traffic. Where do students get mainly involved? Where can we see the most impact in the student's life? Can we better a situation for them? Can we be convenient? And we started with looking at data we had I had some accessibility to some long-term data on Fresno City College's campus. And we found that on average, we have just about 50%, if not more, students working as is. So we went in and focused in on how students are, how many, oh, that's incorrect. Employment. How many hours do students work on average, and where we can tackle a challenge. And for us, we identified that we have quite a few stressors, time stressors, if anything. Students are continuously having to face financial aid. Of course, keeping in mind that we solely looked at student experiences and going from there. And we've seen that there's a lot of issues with time management with our survey. By the way, we had 7 participants. Time management was a thing, school, workload, child needs, and finances. And by the way, all of this, our students had the opportunity to just click 1, 2, however many they felt like they wanted. And we found that just about everywhere, like when looking into if hours were extended, would that benefit the student? We did find that it very much would. But going back to these stressors and looking to see if a student would benefit from just being able to access something where we can cut down the time gap of maybe a document that needs to be turned in, or direct communication, or if just the convenience in total could be made to save them some time, so that way things don't get so overwhelming for them. We found that Canvas is something that we could use.
Yes, so we decided from the 3 of us, we all have Canvas to turn in all of our schoolwork, and some of them, we have other things on Canvas as well. So why not create a thing on Canvas where we can turn all of our other stuff, make appointments, and make it easier for all of us instead of having to go to 5 different applications to turn stuff in. That will lessen our time, give us more time to work on the stuff that we need to work on. And we didn't want to create something new. Why not expand on what we already have, what we already know, how it works, and create that better?
So taking a look at what's already working, we went ahead and looked at each of our campuses individually to see if this is already a system that's already being put into use. We found that on the campus of Fresno City College, we found that EOPS is already directly using this with things like it's already implemented within the Canvas system, and they use a thing like discussion boards, a Dropbox that allows a moderator to look over these discussion boards that students can use to answer questions. For instance, we always have, we would usually have issues with the bookstore, and if bookstore questions needed to be answered, a student can go ahead and make this discussion board, and students can relay information back and forth through that discussion board.
Yeah, I'm happy to report that COD utilizes Canvas, for CARE and EOPS, but also CalWORKs. And the thing that I like most about it is that it just makes things so much easier. And, instead of having an email or whatever, you just upload it and then it's done. The thing I loved about the Fresno City is incorporating the discussion boards that we don't have, because if someone who works in the office is busy, another student might have the answer for that person. So I think that is a good thing. And then Christie's school doesn't even utilize it yet.
Yeah, our school, we have like break activities, so we can do our break activities on Canvas, but we don't have really anything else on there we don't have CARE, we don't have EOPS or anything like that.
Looking forward into the future of our research, We hope that we can take more of a look as well into like county partnerships. This is also another thing that my school is like a huge gem on. The county is housed within the same building as the City College's CalWORKs Association program. They're together. And this partnership effectively helps students go ahead and come into the one building and effectively be able to complete anything that is needed within one department and one building and one site rather than multiple. We also hope into seeing more equity for everyone across the board, how much we would love to expand a lot of these innovations to just across the board, be able to have the same departments being shared with the county. And then and then what's already working as well, which is going to students for any answers that are needed. Would love to see more of this community thing. So in conclusion, the ACD process has been very beneficial. As someone who stresses out about things a lot, meaning I will dwell on it until it is finished immediately. The ACD process has eliminated a lot of the stress because it keeps things structured, easily accessible, and it naturally just comes together.
I would have to say, trust the process. It may seem at first like things aren't coming together, but as time goes, everything finds its own place.
Everyone has a space. We all have our own unique story, and the HCD process allows each of us to tell our story and be validated in the process. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, for your guys' time. Appreciate it.
Woo woo! Well done, the creative bunch. That was such beautiful data storytelling. I am so excited about all the work that you had done tapping into existing research, right? There's so much more opportunity for that. And I loved watching you grapple with all of that. This was really beautiful to see. And finally, our last team to go, we have Team 6, our Leaders of Change. This team actually came up with their own How Might We based on their initial data, and also had some wonderful opportunities to watch someone get a diploma, also got to watch some one-on-one coaching with actor director Tim Robbins. So that was pretty incredible. Thanks for everyone who showed up for that. And again, this is one of those teams that has such deep lived experience and really grappled with how to bring that in and how to be designers in this process. So I will hand it off to our last team of the day, Leaders of Change.
Good morning, everyone. I am so excited to share and present. Our team has been working very hard. Our group name is Leaders of Change, SPARC Fingers. In our group, we have amazing teammates, starting by Gina Houston from Fullerton College, Dana Micel from West Hills College, Coalinga, Shannon Riley from Shasta College, Genesis Foster from Los Angeles City College, and myself, Selena Lopez from Los Angeles Southwest College. Something that I want to highlight for our team is that we are resilient and we were able to overcome all obstacles presented to us. Our How Might We statement is, how might we better support CalWORKs students during and after transferring to a four-year university? What steps did we take to better understand our How Might We statement? Each team member dove deep into our personal experiences, highlighting barriers students face while receiving CalWORKs, and also preparing to transfer to four-year universities. Our team interviewed and researched for data in regards to the needs of students. What our team encountered was that there is a large gap where CalWORKs transfer students are falling through. After seeing that there is a need for change when it comes to CalWORKs transfer students, we decided to address this matter and create change we need for us by us.
Why is this important to our stakeholders? The success of CalWORKs students is important to all our stakeholders. Our research and survey point to more CalWORKs students transferring to four-year universities if they are better supported. The story behind our design decisions. Strict regulations on work-study restrict transfer students to remain in the position of receiving support through the CalWORKs study program. Our team came up with the decision to address this gap and create a bridge that better supports all CalWORKs transfer students. Next slide.
Stakeholders research. Our team conducted interviews with a CalWORKs student and director. We conducted a survey and sent it out to CalWORKs students. We also conducted desk research on transfer students that provided statistical data and valuable insights into the adversities student parents face. One student parent was asked if she planned to transfer to a four-year university. Her response was, next slide, please. No. The availability of financial aid plays a role into this decision. The time clock plays a large role into how long I can dedicate to my education. So what surprised us? The student was asked about business and community relationships the CalWORKs system should have to better serve the student parents. Here is an excerpt of her response. Next slide, please. Having resources to help internships and job procurement after completion of the program. CalWORKs should build relationships with accredited private colleges so that when their students are accepted to such universities, they have an opportunity to make the most of it rather than having to turn down the opportunity of a lifetime. CalWORKs does not fund private education, and that is a problem. I was accepted, to Charles Drew Medical School on a full scholarship, but had to turn it down. This policy limits your ability to move forward to another school. How would you feel if this happened to you? We were also surprised by the number of parenting students from low-income families that are ready to transfer but don't. An article entitled Persistence, Success of Students Who Transfer from Community Colleges to Selective Four-Year Institutions reports that, next slide please, more than 50,000 high-achieving community college students are academically ready to transfer but do not, including 15,000 with a GPA of 3.7 or higher. And lastly, the number of students who want to go on to higher education but don't. The result was insufficient, as a result of insufficient financial resources, transfer advising, and or limited course planning. Next slide, please. Out of 81% of those who wanted to transfer, unfortunately, only 31% actually transfer to a four-year institution within 6 years.
What we have learned from the process is to set aside our preconceived notions, listen to what our research has to say, and follow our instincts in this work. Next slide, please. For the sake of transparency, we have decided to include part of our research process. Next slide, please. Here is part of the survey we conducted. It shows us that students would transfer if they were supported. Next slide, please. Our idea is to expand CalWORKs work study. This program should be offered to all CalWORKs students at all universities. This will provide students with support they need to obtain their degrees and move on to lucrative careers.
I'm so sorry, you guys. I didn't unmute myself. I was speaking. Okay, so what idea do we want to bring to life? We want to bring an idea of expanded work study opportunities for CalWORK students at four-year universities. Why did we choose this? because statistics gathered from our survey point to financial need for prospective transfer students. Timing out of CalWORKs is a huge problem for transfer students. Our interviews and desk research support that. This is a practical and economical solution for getting our CalWORK students a better education. Next slide, please. Additional data is going to be obtained via surveys and interviews to add to the breadth of our research. Much of the research we conducted identified barriers, and we would like to hear a little bit more about what the student solutions might look like. There is just not enough support financially for students after they transfer. That's the bottom line. A CalWORK student that I spoke with personally wanted to continue with her work study position after transferring. Without it, she wouldn't be able to make ends meet. In order to qualify for work study, she has to continue to take 3 units at the community college every semester. This is in addition to her full-time school schedule at the university. Her working hours plus 15 units of schooling, her working hours plus 15 units of schooling are equivalent to more than 80 hours per week. That is like having more than 2 full-time jobs. A CalWORKs counselor at my school confirmed that this is indeed a common issue. Next slide.
So our group, Leaders of Change, would like for all the incoming SPARC students and stakeholders and team allies would like for you to trust the process and be open to learn who has the keys to create the change wanted. And then be open about using your voice and be ready to step out of your comfort zone. Remember that the change is best created by the ones who need it. Thank you.
Leaders of change, yeah.
So beautiful. Judy, are you queuing up some amazing music to close us out with?
I was going to pass it over to Erin, who was mentioning potentially allowing for a little bit of reflection. First off, we want to thank everyone for your generosity in your time today. This obviously is the first time that we have done this in how you saw it today. So we'll definitely incorporate some more time into our next iteration. Erin, did you want to say anything? And then we wanted to invite any of our key stakeholders who are still here to share any reflections that you would like.
Hi, thank you so much, Judy. I want everyone to think back to the check-in, all of our SPARC leaders to think back to the check-in that we did this morning. Remember, everyone said in one word how they want to feel at the end of today's presentation. And I just want to invite you to think about that word. And I have a feeling you feel that way. Relieved, proud, inspired, all of the words. So give yourself a pat on the back, just like we tell our kids to do. Good job. Good job. We're so proud of you. And because we still have so many people here, we just wanted to see if anyone, I don't think we're quite ready to do questions, but if anyone has any comments, Rachel or Mike or Damien, any of our stakeholders, if you'd like to say a few words, we invite you to do that now.
I just want to say, wow, my heart and my head are so full. I cannot believe what you've accomplished. I'm like almost getting tearful in such a short period of time. And I just think, wow, the sky is really the limit for this work. And you all have just uncovered such important barriers for yourselves and your fellow students. And I know that you are ready to lead the change. So thank you so much. I can't wait to see where this goes. And we are here to support you in any way that we can. So way to go. Thank you. You're amazing. Celebrate yourselves and your progress.
Thank you, Rachel. Go ahead, Mike.
For those who don't know me, I'm Mike Carroll. I'm the policy director at the Western Center on Law and Poverty. Basically, I'm a lobbyist in Sacramento. And one of my areas of specialty is the CalWORKs program. I've been doing this for some 18 years now. And we have a great relationship with the CalWORKs Association, and our partnership has really been important over the years. But I have to just say that what has been missing forever is you. The participation by students, parents themselves has never been part of the discussion that's gone on in Sacramento or with our various partners at the state or the counties. And I just want to underscore how important the work you all are doing. I know it takes effort and time for you to step up and do this, but it's critically important. And so, we pledge to you to help work with you, to lift your voices up, to allow you to be in the places where you need to be going forward, to implement the ideas that you've put forward this morning. And I think several of these ideas are really transformative. And I can't wait to hear what's next. Thanks.
Hi, everybody. My name is Damian Ladd. I work at the Department of Social Services, and I'm a proud Sac City graduate, as a matter of fact. And so I have been excited about this project, very much. My job, the job that I do at ESS, is to think about these things sort of all the time. How is it that we can improve the program? How is it that we can provide access? I really want to echo what Mike said, that this is the key piece that has been missing all this time. We can work on it in an office, in a building in Sacramento, but you learn by doing, and you are the folks that are doing. And so as I was listening to the presentations today, I would just say that I feel like you are hitting on all of the exact important key elements. Like you found the right focus areas, looking at the data, looking at the policy, looking at how services are delivered sort of by frontline workers and managers. I mean, that is really where the rubber hits the road. These are things that I'm just so excited, honestly, to continue being a part of this project. I'm very thankful to be a part of this project, and I'm incredibly interested in learning more as you guys continue to develop these ideas. So just thank you. I think this is great. And I think we're at a right, the other thing I would add is I think we are at a right moment in time where we're going to have a real opportunity to actually implement the changes that you were suggesting that you come up with. So again, just thank you so much, and excited to be a part of this. Can't wait for the next check-in. And I love doing this, by the way. Whoever thought of this was great. This is fun.
Thank you. Go ahead, Erin.
Thank you so much. This has been our dream for so long. And thank you, Mike, Rachel, and Damian, for all your support. And we also want to thank all of the mentors who are in the audience, because you are also doing the work every day, every week, every month, supporting your students. Blanca, do you want to add anything before we say goodbye?
No, Erin, I think you've hit it all. This has just been so inspiring. And that was my word as we started when we shared earlier. And I'm so inspired right now. And it's just so amazing to see kind of like a vision come to fruition. So it is just remarkable. Thank you for all of your support, everyone, our friends, our advocates, our partners. We just can't do this without you. And I think Damian and Mike and Rachel, I think you've just provided that additional inspiration, that energy that we needed to know that our students are being heard, and that there is a huge probability that what they're coming up with and their recommendations will be heard and even possibly implemented. So thank you so much for that, and for leaving us with that message.
Woohoo!
Oh, go ahead, Erin.
We keep talking about how we're going to end in 2 years at the White House. And I believe that's going to happen.
And lastly, I just want to appreciate the amount of empathy and humility that it takes as leaders, that it takes as people who shape policy, that it takes as people who make decisions that affect others' lives, to really call in those people into the process. We've heard that early on from some of these key stakeholders who are involved here. And really, this has the potential to have some really big national implications, certainly in the state of California, which is why we started off with our California Dreamin'. And in true SPARC fashion, what we would like to do now is just have a little dance party. And we're inviting our student parents to get their little ones and celebrate if they would like, and you all are welcome to join.